European stock markets are trading lower this morning, with the UK's FTSE 100 index down around about 42 points, while the EUROSTOXX 50 index is lower by around about 21 points. In the currency space, the euro has gained some ground against the dollar, but the yen has dipped a little bit. And in the peripheral bond market space, both Spanish and Italian bond yields are creeping a little higher, and that's ahead of the German Constitutional Court's ruling on European bailout funds, the OMT, and the ESM. Good morning, I'm Ishaq, Siddiqi, and welcome to another Daily Market Bite. It's Tuesday. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what's going on in financial markets today. So let's start off with what happened in overnight trade on Wall Street. Share markets did end higher, and that was on the back of S&P ratings agency changing their outlook on the US economy. They changed the outlook to stable and negative, and that's after cutting the AAA rating back in August 2011, and that's signaled some confidence in the US economy, and has at the same time affected Asian share markets in overnight trade. That's because Asia and the Asian region has been the biggest beneficiary of easy Fed money, so the fact that the US economy is now starting to show signs of good growth, and S&P also changing their rating on the back of that, it would mean that we may see an imminent end of quantitative easing, and that easy Fed money will start coming out of the Asian markets, which has put a bit of pressure on Asia in overnight trade. At the same time, the Bank of Japan kept their policies on hold and voted not to increase their balance sheet by expanding their quantitative easing program. That had a bit of effect, given the fact that the Japanese market has been extremely volatile over the past few sessions. Now going into Europe this morning, like I said, the German Constitutional Court's two-day meeting will be the key event. Nothing really is really expected at the moment from the German Constitutional Court ruling, at least on the short term front, and it's more of a longer term kind of decision, given the fact that no ruling will be made until after the German elections in September. But there are some concerns about what judges will be speaking about when it comes to the European bailout funds, particularly the legality of the OMT program, which is currently dormant, but nonetheless, if it is in operation at some point, people will be asking about how legal this operation is. The ECB has had significant opposition by the Bundesbank and Germany over the setup of the OMT. That might shine through in the discussions by judges today at the Constitutional Court ruling. So it's a two-day process, and really we won't really be hearing anything out of Germany until tomorrow. Nothing concrete at least, but it's one for investors to watch. Now going on to what's going on in the rest of Europe, we've had UK industrial production data, which was not that great. I mean, it was better than expected, but on the whole it does suggest that the UK economy is still in a fragile state. It grew by 0.1%, so not a bad number, but not a number that inspires a positive view of the UK economy just yet. And going on to some of the other stories out in Europe, the Greek market is posting its second consecutive day of losses, and that's after it failed to shed off an asset. The company is called Depa. It's a state-owned gas giant, and yesterday they failed to sell this company to foreign investors. It undermined lots of confidence in Greek companies and Greek assets, and at the same time the Greek government, so it's seen as a bit of a setback, given the fact that Greece actually has a host of big ticket assets to sell. So the fact that they can't sell one has investors questioning if they have the ability to actually sell a few more, and at the moment the kind of the key consensus is if Greece can't offload one asset, then it's going to find it very difficult to offload others, and that would lead to an escalation of the Greek debt crisis. Now staying on the crisis front, we are seeing an escalation of the tensions in Turkey. In Taksim Square this morning, we had riot police enter the square to clear the area, which has had protests protesters have been dwelling there for the last 10 days in opposition to the Prime Minister Erdogan's policies and his staunch plan to build a development over a park. So at the moment it's a very volatile situation, it's very liquid. Turkish markets are extremely volatile, responding to that. But at the same time we've had a GDP data from Germany, from Turkey, which has been pretty good, and that's given the Turkish market a bit of a lift. Now looking ahead in terms of what we've got going for the rest of the session, we have US wholesale inventories, which will be very much in focus. Other than that, not much else going on, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow about what's going on in markets. Thanks for watching.